Listen to me. I don't care where you're sitting right now. I don't care if you're in your car, in your living room, in some dark bedroom trying to figure life out. I need you to lock in with me for the next few minutes. Like your life depends on it. Because for some of you, it actually does. I'm not here to waste your time. I'm here to remind you of something you might have forgotten. That you fought battles nobody else even knows about. You've been through storms that would have drowned other people. You've carried weights that would have crushed most. And yet here you are, breathing, standing, trying. But I need you to hear me clear. The fact that you're still here means there's more inside you. It means your story ain't over. It means all that private pain, all those silent wars you fought when nobody was watching, they weren't in vain. So don't you dare tune out. Don't you dare drift off. This ain't background noise. This is for your spirit. Because by the time we're done, you're going to look at your life different. You're going to stop apologizing for your scars. You're going to understand why it had to be you. So lean in. Let every word hit you. Because you fought battles no one will ever understand. And by the end of this, you're going to wear that truth like a crown. You know what blows my mind? How people look at your life and think they know the whole story. They see a snapshot. Maybe you smiling on social media. Maybe you landing that job. Maybe you pushing through a workout. Maybe you laughing with friends. And they just assume that's the whole picture. But they got no clue, none whatsoever, about what it took for you to even stand there and breathe. They don't see the nights you laid there staring at the ceiling, feeling like the walls were closing in on you. They don't know about the days your chest was so tight with anxiety, you thought your heart was literally going to give out. They didn't see you sitting in your car after work, gripping the steering wheel, fighting back tears because you didn't want to walk in the house with that heavy energy. They didn't see the mornings you rolled over, looked at your phone, and prayed for just one reason to get out of bed. See, that's the part they miss. They think strength is just lifting weights, flexing muscles, showing off wins. But real strength is fighting demons nobody else can see. It's carrying burdens on your back that would snap somebody else in half. It's getting up again and again, even when your soul feels like it's been scraped raw. I'm talking to the one right now who's been through some private hell. The kind you can't even fully explain to your closest people, because how could they possibly understand? Maybe it's childhood trauma that left scars on your mind. Maybe it's heartbreak that shattered you so deep you question your worth. Maybe it's that loss, you know the one I'm talking about. The person you thought would always be there, gone just like that. And the emptiness it left behind still echoes in everything you do. Maybe it's the self-doubt. The fear that whispers in your ear, telling you you're not good enough, not smart enough, not talented enough. Or maybe it's that constant voice that says, you're too damaged, too broken, too far gone to ever truly heal. But let me tell you something. Those silent struggles, those hidden wars, that's where your real strength was born. That's where you built resilience. Not when everybody was clapping for you, not when life was smooth, but when you were down on the mat, bleeding, bruised, wondering if you could take one more hit. It's in those lonely moments you became dangerous. Because see, the person who's been to the bottom and climbed back up is different. They walk different. They carry themselves with a quiet confidence. They don't fold easy. Life already tried to break them and failed. That's you. And I know sometimes it feels unfair. You look around and it seems like everybody else got it easier, like they're gliding through life while you're out here fighting tooth and nail just to stay afloat. But hear me, your story is yours for a reason. You needed to go through exactly what you went through to become exactly who you're becoming. Those dark nights you survived, those tears nobody saw, that's where your character was carved out. That's where your compassion was molded, your empathy was sharpened. Because how else could you recognize real pain in somebody else's eyes? How else could you have the heart you have now to reach back and help someone else who's struggling? That's why you're different. You got a depth to you most people will never have, because they've never had to fight the way you did. And you ought to be proud of that. You ought to stand tall, not shrink back. Stop hiding your story like it's some kind of shameful secret. Stop watering yourself down so you don't make other people uncomfortable. Because the truth is, your silent struggles gave you superpowers. You know how to keep going when there's nothing left. You know how to breathe under pressure. You know how to smile even when it hurts. Not because you're fake, but because you're unbreakable. And yeah, they might never understand. They might never know the nights you prayed for a miracle, the mornings you begged God just to give you the strength to face another day. They might never grasp the gravity of what you carried all by yourself, but that's okay. They don't need to, because your life is the testimony, the fact that you're still standing, still striving, still chasing dreams. That's the evidence, that's the fruit of all those hidden battles. So stop waiting for someone to clap for you. Stop hoping somebody's going to come pat you on the back and say, I see how hard it's been for you. Most of them can't see it even if they tried. You fought battles no one will ever understand, but you understand. And that's enough. From now on, I want you to walk with your head up, not because you're arrogant, but because you earned it. You paid in tears, in sleepless nights, in moments of crushing doubt, and you came out the other side. You're still here. That's all the proof you need that you're built for this. So when it gets tough again, and it will, remind yourself, I've already survived what was meant to destroy me. There's nothing this world can throw at me that I can't handle. And that's why I'm telling you right now, with every ounce of passion I got, don't you dare quit. Not now, not after everything you've already overcome. You're too close. You're too powerful. You fought battles no one will ever understand, and you're still standing. That's your crown. Wear it. You know what's wild? How your pain, that raw, gut-wrenching, ugly pain, has actually been your greatest investment. It's crazy how life works. Because the very thing that you thought was going to break you, the thing you thought was going to end you, is the same thing that's paying you back every single day in strength, in perspective, in resilience. But let's be real, most people can't see that. They look at you and they see your hustle. They see you waking up early, grinding, sacrificing, keeping your head down while everybody else is out here trying to look cute for the gram. And they think, man, why are they so obsessed? Why do they work so hard? Why don't they relax a little? Because every time life punches you in the mouth, you don't fold. You've been hit harder by your own demons than anybody else ever could. So when setbacks come, you don't panic. You adjust, you adapt, you endure. That's a dividend. That's a return on your private hell. And it's funny because people will try to judge your present without knowing your past. They'll say, why are you so intense? Why do you take everything so seriously? Because they don't get it. They don't understand that when you've lost before, really lost, you learn to cherish every inch of progress. You learn to protect it like it's your baby, because you remember what it felt like to have nothing. That's why you don't entertain drama. That's why you don't have time for gossip or petty competition. Your mind is focused on the mission because you've been at the bottom and you promise yourself you'd never go back. That's not arrogance. That's discipline born out of desperation. And let's keep it a buck. It still hurts sometimes. Some wounds never fully heal. You still get flashes of old pain when you least expect it. A smell, a song, a date on the calendar. Suddenly, you're right back in that dark place for a moment. But even then, you're different now. You've built up spiritual calluses, emotional armor. It doesn't break you the way it once did. That's the payoff. That's the dividend. Because now, when somebody else is crumbling under pressure, you can stand tall. You've been there, you felt that, and you came out stronger. And that's why you're dangerous. Because life already threw its best shot at you, and you're still here. And the best part? You can take that pain and pour it into purpose. You can use what you went through to lift somebody else up, to inspire, to guide, to protect, to build. Because your suffering wasn't random. It was an investment into the person you were destined to become. So don't you dare feel ashamed of your past. Don't you dare water down your story just to make people comfortable. Wear it. Own it. Because that pain brought you wisdom. It brought you compassion. It brought you grit. And every day you get up and go after your goals. Every day you keep pushing even when it's hard. Every day you keep loving people even when you know they might hurt you. That's another dividend. That's your pain paying you back. So the next time somebody tries to question your intensity, your boundaries, your grind, just smile. Because they weren't there. They didn't pay what you paid. They didn't cry what you cried. They didn't bleed what you bled. And the next time you start to doubt yourself, when that little voice creeps in and tries to remind you of everything that went wrong, I want you to look in the mirror and say, yeah, but I'm still here. I'm still breathing. I'm still loving. I'm still chasing what's mine. Because that's the ultimate dividend. Not just that you survived, but that you kept your heart open, kept your spirit strong, kept your dreams alive. And that right there, that's priceless. One of the hardest things you'll ever have to learn is this. You don't owe your story to everybody. You don't. Not everybody deserves to know what you've been through. Not everybody is ready to hear what it took for you to still be breathing, walking, showing up. Some people are just not built to carry the weight of your truth. And that's not your problem. That's not your responsibility. Because here's the truth. You didn't go through everything you've been through just to sit around begging people to understand you. You didn't suffer all that pain just to spend your life explaining yourself to folks who ain't even listening with their hearts. You ever open up to someone about what you've been through and watch them just glaze over? Like they heard your words, but they didn't feel what you were saying? You were talking about trauma, heartbreak, abandonment, depression, grief, and they treated it like small talk. And in that moment, something inside you shut down a little, didn't it? You started thinking, maybe I should just keep it all to myself. Maybe nobody will ever get it. And maybe you're right. Maybe not everyone will get it. Maybe your journey is too deep, too real, too raw for surface level people. Maybe your survival intimidates people who've never truly suffered. Maybe your strength makes people uncomfortable because it reminds them of how much they've never had to endure. But listen to me. You don't need their validation. You don't need their applause. You don't need anybody to fully understand your story in order for it to be real, in order for it to matter. Your scars are proof enough. Your persistence is proof enough. The fact that you're still here, that's all the proof you need. Stop trying to make people understand who never cared to ask in the first place. Stop shrinking yourself to fit into places you've already outgrown. Stop giving explanations to people who never bothered to ask how you're really doing. Protect your peace. Guard your spirit. Your story is sacred. Your journey is not some cheap headline for people's entertainment. You fought for your healing. You fought for your sanity. You fought to still be kind, still be hopeful, still be loving after all the betrayal, all the silence, all the pain. And not everybody deserves access to that part of you. You got to learn how to move in silence sometimes. Let people assume. Let them judge. Let them whisper. Let them fill in the blanks however they want. You're not obligated to correct every misunderstanding. You're not required to set the record straight every time someone tells your story wrong. The truth is, your energy is too valuable to be spent defending your past to people who weren't even present for it. See, when you've really been broken, when you've really had to crawl your way out of darkness, you start to understand the power of privacy. You learn that healing doesn't always have to be loud. Growth doesn't always have to be broadcasted. Sometimes the most powerful transformation happens when nobody is watching, when it's just you, God, and the fight of your life. And you know what's crazy? The more you heal, the more you elevate, the less you feel the need to explain yourself. Because healing makes you secure, makes you whole. And when you're whole, you stop chasing external understanding. You stop needing people to validate what you already know. I'm built different because I survived different. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying isolate. I'm not saying you don't need people. We all need connection. But I am saying be selective. Be wise about who gets access to your vulnerable spaces. You wouldn't give your house keys to a stranger, right? Then why give your pain to someone who hasn't earned your trust? Will you ever notice how sometimes the people who expect you to open up the most are the same ones who disappear when you do? They say, I'm here for you. But when you finally get real, suddenly they ghost. And that's fine. Let them go. Because your healing is not dependent on their presence. You don't need a crowd to rise. You just need clarity. You need direction. You need peace. Let them misunderstand you. Let them mislabel you. Let them call you cold, distant, guarded. They don't know what you've had to protect yourself from. They don't know what it costs you to keep your heart soft in a world that keeps trying to make it hard. They don't know the tears you cried alone, the prayers you whispered in silence, the nights you laid awake wondering if you ever feel whole again. But you know. And that's what matters. You know what it took. You know what you lost. You know what you overcame. You know who had your back and who disappeared. And you know who you had to become in order to survive it all. So keep walking with your head high. Keep protecting your space. Keep your heart open but guarded, soft but strong. Because the truth is, you're not here to convince anyone of your worth. You're not here to make your journey palatable for people who never tasted your pain. You fought battles no one will ever understand, and you don't need them to. Understanding was never the requirement. Endurance was. And you've already proven you've got more than enough of that. So the next time someone asks why you don't share more, why you seem distant, why you keep your circle small, don't even explain. Just smile. Because they wouldn't get it if you did. And that's okay. Because you're not living for them. You're living for legacy, for purpose, for peace, for the ones who do get it. For the future version of you who will look back and say, thank you for protecting the story while it was still unfolding. Because at the end of the day, silence isn't weakness, it's wisdom. And sometimes the strongest thing you can do is keep walking without saying a word. You know what gets me every single time? It's not the people who brag about how much money they got, how many followers they have, how smooth their life looks on the outside. It's the people who are still standing. The people who are still waking up every day chasing purpose, still loving deeply, still trying with everything they've got, even after everything they've been through. That, to me, is the loudest testimony you could ever give. Because when you really break it down, your survival story is more powerful than any speech you could ever deliver. The fact that you're still here, still fighting, still daring to hope for something better says more than 1,000 perfectly crafted words ever could. You don't even have to open your mouth. Your life speaks for you. People might not know what it cost you to be here. They might not know that you had nights where you were curled up in the dark trying to figure out if you even wanted to keep living. They might not know that there were mornings you had to literally force yourself out of bed, telling yourself, just make it to the next hour. Just breathe. Just keep moving. They might never know how many times you almost gave up. But look at you. You didn't. You kept going. You kept pushing. And every day that you get up and put one foot in front of the other, every day you keep showing up for life, even when you don't feel like it, even when everything inside you wants to quit. That's your testimony. That's your legacy. That's proof of your unbreakable spirit. See, we live in a world that's obsessed with image. Everybody wants to post their highlight reel, show off the shiny moments, the celebrations, the milestones. And there's nothing wrong with that. Celebrate your wins. But don't ever forget that what really matters is the stuff that nobody sees. The quiet perseverance, the private battles, the moments when quitting would have been easier, but you chose to keep going. Because that's where champions are born. Not on the stage, not under the bright lights, but in the shadows, in the silence, in the moments when you're face down on the floor, tears soaking the carpet, praying for the strength to just get back up. That's where you prove to life that you're unshakable. So don't ever think you're weak because you struggle. Don't ever think you're behind because you got scars. Those scars are proof that you healed. Those cracks in your heart, that's where the light gets in. That's where your compassion comes from. That's why you can look at somebody else's pain and say, I get it. I see you. I've been there. That empathy, that depth, that resilience, that's your real wealth. And that's what the world needs more of. Not more perfect people with perfect stories, but real people who've been through hell and still decided to love, still decided to trust, still decided to show up. And don't you ever think that just because people don't clap for you, your survival isn't miraculous. Don't think just because the world doesn't give you a standing ovation, your journey isn't worth celebrating. The fact that you made it through what tried to kill you is a miracle all by itself. The fact that you're still capable of smiling, still capable of dreaming, still capable of getting excited about the future, that's the loudest testimony you could ever give. And I know it's hard sometimes. I know it feels like nobody sees you. Nobody truly understands the depth of your fight. It's like you're carrying this invisible weight on your shoulders, moving through life trying to pretend like it's not crushing you. And meanwhile, people are judging you from the outside, having no clue how heavy your burdens really are. But let me tell you something. It doesn't matter if they never understand. It doesn't matter if they never say thank you, never applaud, never recognize how far you've come. Because your victory isn't for them. It's for you. It's for the person you used to be. That version of you who thought they wouldn't survive. Every day you keep going, you honor them. Every day you keep breathing, you prove them wrong. So hold your head high, even on the days it feels impossible. Keep moving, even if all you can do is crawl, because your persistence is powerful. Your endurance is inspiring, even if nobody ever tells you, even if nobody ever sees the full picture of what you've overcome. And trust me on this, someone is watching. Someone is taking notes. Maybe it's your kids. Maybe it's a friend. Maybe it's a stranger you didn't even realize was paying attention. They see you fighting and it gives them permission to keep fighting too. That's legacy. That's impact. That's how your pain gets transformed into purpose. You don't have to shout your story from the rooftops for it to matter. You don't have to write a book or give a speech or post it on social media. Just by living, by continuing to show up, by refusing to let your wounds turn you bitter, you're already speaking volumes. You're already lighting the way for somebody else who's stumbling in the dark. So the next time you're tempted to think you're not doing enough, that your life isn't loud enough, that your story isn't impressive enough, remember this: The fact that you're still standing is the loudest statement you'll ever make. Your existence is a declaration of victory. Your breath is a rebellion against everything that tried to silence you. And that's why you keep going. That's why you don't quit, because you're not just surviving for you. You're surviving for every person who needs to see that it's possible to come out of the fire and still have hope, still have love, still have dreams. So keep walking, keep shining, keep proving every day that nothing could break you, because your life is the testimony and it's speaking louder than you'll ever have to.